Go now to Lieutenant Colonel Bob Maginnis, who says the Secretary of State is right. Military action should be on the table. Good to have you here, Colonel Maginnis. There's a school of thought in political science called realism. And part of what makes realism work is the reality that if you do something crazy, somebody else is going to do something in retaliation. I mean, one of the concerns about North Korea is you got a crazy guy who doesn't seem to understand the way of the world. Will this help him, do you think, in terms of understanding his own vulnerabilities?
Well, Trish, it can't hurt. We went through Clinton, Bush, Obama, the same outcome. They keep testing nuclear weapons. They test intercontinental ballistic missiles. Even by our own intelligence agencies, are much closer to having a nuclear-capable ballistic missile that can reach certainly Hawaii and Alaska or the western United States. Just look at the picture of Secretary Tillerson today at the demilitarized zone at Panmunjom. I've been there a number of times. He's surrounded by U.S. soldiers. Why? Because it's a very dangerous place. These people, and I've been on the demilitarized zone for a year, many years ago, is a very, very dangerous place today, and it continues to be a dangerous place. We cannot trust them. Diplomacy has utterly failed this country. And as Secretary Tillerson makes very clear, we can cut off their oil. We might be able to use cyber. We might use perhaps some more sanctions. None of that has really worked. And quite frankly, the things that really matter to them are regime survival. We have to get into their heads. We have to change the paradigm. If we change the paradigm, much like we changed it against Gaddafi back in '86 when Reagan bombed Tripoli and put a warhead right on his own home, he got the message and he turned around. We need to be serious like that, Trish. Otherwise, as I've said for over a decade and on this network, if we don't get serious, they are going to deliver a nuclear weapon on our country.
Yeah, I know you're worried about that. A lot of people are really worried about that. And the big question is, how do you contain this wild man? So the thinking then is, if Japan has the ability to go after them, if South Korea has the ability to go after them, he might stop, think twice? Well,
he might. In South Korea, of course, we've upped the ante somewhat. They have Patriots, they have THAAD, they have some other capabilities, but those are all defensive. You have to wait for the rockets to rain on your country before you shoot them down. The Japanese have to change their constitution, which is a little more difficult, obviously, but they are moving in the direction, understanding that North Korea offers an existential threat against them. Those rockets tend to land closer and closer to Japan. The North Koreans are provocative. Once again, we have to get into their minds. We have to do something that is going to cause them to change their way of thinking. Confrontation hasn't worked.
They're just not cutting it or cutting off their oil. And it doesn't really affect him in a very meaningful way. Anyway, Colonel, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Trish.